Today, I continue to read the book, My Visits from My Conversations with the Poor Souls. It's the diary of Princess Eugenie von der Leyen. And today we are learning about a person who lived in vain. And so if you're liking this reading, please continue to like, subscribe, share, and if you can, contribute to my ministry in the link below. May 27th, 1924. It's starting to get almost unbearable. Apart from W, there was still fog in the room and heart-rending moans. I asked, "Endure your punishment. Why do you torment me? I don't want to listen to you anymore." He said, "Where is your mercy?" Then he was gone, but the moaning remained. Now my conscience weighs on me that I was hard. May 28th and 29th, nothing. Maybe my wickedness ended things. May 30th, W was sad, which made me tell him I want to keep helping him. Then he came and choked me until I thought I was suffocating. He was hideous. "Why are you doing this if you want me to help you?" He said, "I want to force you." I said, "I won't let myself be forced, especially not in this way." Then he came up to me again with an angry expression, and I don't know what else happened. When I came to, he was gone, but I heard the music. May 31st, I saw the night again, and W was there today. I'm very afraid of him now. There's something else in this room that I can't see yet. Will it go on like this? June 1st, W was there. I asked, "Tell me, is it the will of God that you come to me?" He said, "We may." I said, "But why are you tormenting me? It's enough torment just to see you." He said, "Because envy is in me." I said, "Why envy me? You can't get lost anymore, but I can." He said, "I've never kept my mind in check and lived in vain." I said, "How then were you saved?" He said, "By the priest." "Why can you still have envy? You can't sin anymore." He said, "The evil is still in me." I saw him as ugly as ever. Then he came 4 more times. June 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, he came every night in a very dreadful condition. It was very bad. I also heard many other sounds out of the fog, as well as distant whimpers. I met the old maid on the stairs. June 6th, I saw the knight in the church, always just as pious and motionless. W was there a long time, rather uncomfortable, too close in front of me. He didn't answer me anything. I'm a little more comforted again. I think to myself, God is sending this to me because I practice so little active charity in the world. But I'm not as efficient as I used to be, so tired in the morning, and how much I do lose as a result. June 9th, actually, I have nothing new to report. W comes silently every night, but he has become very restless. The noise increases a little. June 11th, in addition to W, another very horrible female figure has appeared, a true monster. I'm afraid. June 14th, 2 male figures seen in the first pew at the tomb altar. They seemed so human to me that I went into the bank behind them to see who was there. Only then did I realize what it was. They are wearing long black robes and are from another century. I gave them holy water from the big basin in front of them, and they were gone. The music is heard, and W was there briefly. June 16th, the loathsome woman was back. She looks familiar, but I can't say anything definite just yet, except that she's highly unsympathetic. I saw the knight in the church. On June 17th, the woman was there for a long time. I recognized her. It's an old rag picker named Blockham Nandal. She was the terror of my childhood and feared by all. I think she died around 1893. June 18th, W comes and it seems no more. But Nandal was very angry again. I heard the music again. June 19th, Corpus Christi. I was allowed to experience something beautiful. I walked up the mountain just as a blessing was given at the hospital. That's when I saw the 11 throwing themselves on the floor like they did at Christmas. It was so touching that I cried. If only the unbelievers had seen it. Why are these 11 always like sticks of fog? In bright sunshine, they are too strange. Now there's an asterisk that was after if only the unbelievers had seen it, and it says, what would the princess who lived entirely with and from the Holy Mass and Communion and therefore rejoiced in the adoration of the 11 suffer today if the mystery of faith has been extinguished even among many priests and religious? Well, that's a good question. June 20th, just as I was about to scourge myself for W, he stood next to me with a happy expression and said, you set me free. I said, no, not me, God's mercy. He said, through you. I said, where are you going now? He said, into a higher sphere. I said, tell me, what can I do so that the poor souls don't come anymore? He said, be generous. Then he left, leaving me in a haze of light. Nandal came soon after, but I was so happy that this time I didn't care about her. I heard the music. June 21st, I saw the night in the church. Nandal was very bad, really disgusting. June 22nd, so much noise in the room that I had many cowardly thoughts. June 23rd, Nandal was seen 4 times a day. Her eyes are horrible. It's going to get worse again. June 23rd to July 14th, always the same, very bad to experience, very boring to write. Blackham Nandal has now spoken. I said, how can I help you? She said, see what I'm missing? She came very close to me, and now I saw an expression of such sadness on her face as I had never seen before. I said, do you long for God? She said, yes. I said, aren't you allowed to see him for so long? She said, I'm not clean yet. I said, can I help you get clean? She said, give me the sacrament. I said, shall I offer Holy Communion for you? She said, yes. I said, how often? She said, 7. Why just 7? So often unworthy. Then she cried in a way that no human being can cry, ending in sorrow. I couldn't help but hug her. The way she looked at me, everything bad and disgusting was gone, only to come back to an increased extent in the following days, so that I thought I could no longer look at it. Even L didn't look so horrid at his worst. Because there's no such thing in human thought, I can't describe it either. Up to now, I have always had peace when I was in pain. This stage seems to be over now. If I want to be true, I have to say that I can hardly take it anymore. I've become so lacking in trust in God. July 18th, it was particularly bad. I said, why are you torturing me? I want to do what you want me to do. She said, you prefer to sleep. She gave me such a push that I almost fainted with fear. But she was right, because I was so broken that I couldn't get over it. July 19th, she was sitting on my bed when I came to sleep. Something pressed against me from all sides. I felt like I was being held tight, but I couldn't see anything. It lasted a few minutes. So there is something else with me. Finally, towards morning, I could lie down. July 20th, so much noise that I couldn't even think about sleeping. Blackham Nandal has become completely mute again. Her eyes are very strange. It is as if a power were emanating from them, forcing one to look. I often have the feeling as if she were draining my strength. I never felt the same about any of the other apparitions. I haven't seen Blackham Nandal since the 27th. Some relief. There's a lot around me. 7 figures are recognizable but entirely unknown. They crowd towards me and I feel their horrid hands touching me, the worst of all. As I wrote this, something threw itself onto my back. It was a female figure. It seems I'm never alone. Something worries me. I'm neglecting my soul. No more effort for virtue. I can't get around to working on myself anymore. I've never done it much, but at least I've made an effort. August 4th, very horrible night. I saw nothing, but felt and heard. I was also often beaten. I could no longer help myself and was very cowardly. Couldn't it be evil spirits after all? August 6th, something grabbed my doorknob as I was about to go to my room. I was finally able to open it. There was a thick fog in my room and I heard moaning. I poured out a lot of holy water, then it got better. Then I saw 4 figures develop out of the mist and then melt back into the mist. I have seen Barbara 4 times recently on the 3rd floor. She seemed quite content and was smiling. Because I was not alone, I couldn't talk to her. August 7th, the 7 figures were clearly recognizable. They stayed with me from 10 to 1 a.m. They didn't torment me, but the crowd seems very frightening. But I listened to the music for comfort. My observation during a thunderstorm was very remarkable because I saw the lightning flashing through the figures. But it looked so terribly spooky that I preferred to light my candle. August 9th, I experienced something scary. I slept and woke up to a noise, turned on the light, and bending over me, I saw something so horrible that I keep thinking about it with fear. It was a gigantic head with eyes that pierced like never before. Or maybe the whole face was an eye. Everything in it stared at me. I said, "Go away. What are you looking for in me?" He said, "Peace." I said, "I can't give it to you." He said, "You have to." She said, "What can force me?" He said, "You shall love your neighbor as yourself." But what if I lack the strength? He said, "So pray." Then he was gone. That such words could come from something so abominable. Now I want to go back as it has to be. How they educate me, the spirits. Now I want to tell you something that seemed like a greeting from God. It may be ridiculous, but it made me happy. I was very depressed. Everything scared me, and I kept wondering if it was God's will that I had to go through this. So I prayed that the good Lord would give me a little sign, as he has done to me so often. It was in the garden when suddenly a swallow fell on the path. I picked her up, stroked her, and she flew away again. For me, it was the sign. I don't want to complain anymore. August 10th, the head was there again. It also has a body. I asked, "Who are you?" He said, "Wolfgang." I said, "How come you can talk so soon?" He said, "I've been with you for a long time." I said, "Why haven't I seen you?" He said, "The others had your strength." I said, "Do you want to help me?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Tell me what's bad about me." He said, "You are divided." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Body, soul." I said, "I know I'm only supposed to be a soul, but I can't just yet. What else do you see?" He said, "Pride." Then he was gone. That was nice that I could inconvenience the spirits a bit for myself. I heard the music. I saw the night. Something shook my shoulder in church. Since August 16th, I have ignored my visits because I was advised to do so. I don't need to go into detail about the agony that went with it. It is enough to know that Wolfgang and 7 figures came every night. It is decidedly easier to deal with them. You then notice less how tense the nerves are and how much strength is withdrawn. Let me know your thoughts. I'm Dr. Christine Bacon. Thanks for watching this Bacon Bit. And as always, remember to live your life sunny side up.